Welcome to another episode of the Myrtle Beach Golf Report, powered by Play Golf Myrtle Beach. Kyle Oland here, and as always, joined by David Williams here in the golf capital of the world. What is going on, David?
What's up, dude? How are you?
Oh, it's a beautiful day, man.
Another beautiful day.
Spring golf is here.
2.5 inches of pollen on the ground.
You know what? When there's pollen at the beach,
Means the good weather's on its way.
means the good weather is here. I think no. I don't think it means it's on its way. I think it means it's here.
It's fair.
You get pollen, you know spring's here.
That's a good point. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, and it's useless to wash your car during this time. My wife has washed her car twice, and every time I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like within 2 hours, you're gonna have to wash it again.
Hand up. I hand washed my car on Saturday after I did my taxes. I had a real adult day Saturday. And I was just tired of looking at it because when it rains, it doesn't fully wash it off. It just gets water spots, and then it just looks like shit. And
see, I think you're more of a car guy than me because I don't care. I'm just like, what's
I also
the
just
point?
got a new car, so
yes.
that's like part of it.
Yeah, my car's 7 years old, so I don't really
Oh,
care.
if I had the old one, I'd be like, I don't care. But I have a newer one, so
You got to keep it looking nice.
I do.
Yeah.
Big news, Kyle. Big news.
We announced the Q. The Q is back,
May
baby.
May 5th, 2025 at noon on our YouTube channel.
How do you feel about that? You excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. I feel better about it this year than I did last. Not that I was like down last year, but it was our first time doing it. So like it was just a lot of unknowns. Now we kind of know what we're doing. It's like riding a bike. You kind of like, all right, we got this. Like we're good.
Yeah, I feel like last year we didn't really know what we were getting into.
We didn't. I think it's pretty safe to say.
I don't think we also knew what would come from the Q at Myrtle Beach. Man, the creator golf world has changed in a year's time, and it is moving at breakneck speed right now.
It's just not stopping.
I feel like we are the person that like put the train on the track, and now the train is just going at 1,000 miles per hour with no end in sight. It's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on.
I don't think it's ever going to stop. I mean, yeah, dude, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, no, you've got obviously the Q last year, and then from there, the Creator Classic came. Now, I will say this. You give credit where credit is due. Technically, Good had their Arizona Classic, which was like probably the first live creator event. I think where the Q came in was bridging the gap between professional golf and creator golf. And then from there, you saw that bridge continue to be built with the Creator Classic. 2 renditions of it. The first one at East Lake, the last one at the Players. I was at both of them. I thought the one at the Players was 10 times better than the first. Not to say the first one wasn't good, but I just thought the vibe at the Players was absolutely fantastic. And then you have this recent Live Golf event, which takes place this weekend.
Is it this weekend?
I think it's this weekend.
Is that public knowledge?
They put something up on their on the Live Golf page.
Oh. I didn't know if that had a date or anything in it.
Yeah, I think it did if you go to the end of the video. So
I didn't watch.
Now Liv is in the game, which they started getting into the game when they brought in who did they bring in?
Rick Shields.
Rick Shields, that's right. I was going to say Peter, but it wasn't Peter. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun journey over the last year. I feel like we're definitely a part in that, and that's why we brought the Q back. So I think a little backstory. We've probably talked about the backstory of the Q, but before we kind of get into this year's event, what you can expect, obviously we all know who's playing in it. David and I will talk a little bit about that. We'll share some stories from what's transpired over the last year over this episode. But the Q at Myrtle Beach was created in partnership with the PGA Tour a year ago so our company, Golf Tourism Solutions, and our sister company, Visit Myrtle Beach, we brought in the Myrtle Beach Classic last year, right? And in that, we received a sponsor exemption. And rather than doing what everybody else has always done, it's just give that sponsor exemption to some local hero or up-and-coming individual, we said, hey, let's recreate this. Let's see if we can merge.
I wanted to give it to Charlie Woods, but...
Did you?
Yeah.
That probably would have been a better choice than the Q.
No, I don't think so. personally. I think it would have been leeching off of. I think we would have just been like everybody else that just gets all their free.
Do you think Charlie's management would have let him accept it?
No.
Not a chance.
Anyway, sorry. Back to the Q backstory.
Charlie Woods would have been cool, though.
It would have been.
He's actually one of the names we'll talk about here regarding the Q.
I forgot.
Yeah, we'll talk about Charlie as it relates to the Q. But so we wanted to bridge the gap between creator golf and the professional game. And with mine and David's relationship over the last handful of years working with creators, we got a basically just right up close view to see that some of these guys are actually really, really talented golfers. And would their game, we had this question, would their game translate to the professional level? Could a YouTube golfer earn a spot, not be given a spot? I think in anything in life, it should be earned and not given. So could a YouTube golfer earn a spot? It'd be very easy for us just to have given a sponsor exemption to Grant Horvat.
Yeah. I don't think anybody would have said no to that.
No. But rather than just give it to someone, in life, nothing's given. You have to earn it. So we wanted to see if someone could earn it playing in a competitive round of golf with the highest stakes on the line. Depending upon who you ask, but for
I mean, yeah, it's
not like you're playing for the Masters, right?
No,
I think that's a higher stake.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
but a shot to earn a spot, keyword, earn a spot into a PGA Tour event. We had this idea, we cooked it up. Then we had to ask the PGA Tour, hey, will you let us do that? And number of conversations, convincing. Shout out Tracy Connor, might be the best negotiator no one's ever heard of. Helped get the deal to the finish line. And then we had a concept, we had approval, and then we were like, how the frick are we going to even produce this?
Yeah, that was the funniest part, is that the original idea for the brand or the Q like branding concept, we didn't have a name. It was January 2nd, and we were on a branding call about it, and it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna try to do this in checks notes 2 months.
2 months. We don't even have a name for it.
2 months. Don't have a name. Don't have Jack bleep, and it's like, I mean, hey, credit to the tour for letting us do it. It took a lot of convincing. But
I bet if you had asked them, they're like, this thing's going to fail and they're going to fall flat on their face. Because they didn't know us from Adam. They didn't know our capabilities and whatever. We're just we're folks in Myrtle Beach.
As you said to everybody on the calls, cowboys.
We're cowboys in Myrtle Beach. And we met the cowboy. And that's when we met, we've known Joe for a while.
Yeah, we'd known him for like a year and a half.
Joe's the man that brought everything together. Said, Joe, this is Joe Gilliland, who represents the Bryan brothers, and he represents a lot of different creators, have this idea. He goes, that's brilliant. I love it. I know who you need to talk to, because Joe knows everybody.
Yeah.
Joe knows everybody.
He's like the creator version of Tracy, where he if you're in golf and you've been in or around this market, Tracy Connor. If you're in or around the creator space, you probably know Joe, or Joe knows you, one of the two.
And the funny thing is, once you know who Joe is, if you watch most YouTube golf videos, you will see Joe
in the background.
Yeah. It cracks me up.
Once you know who you're looking for, you will see him. It's very funny. Like a Creator Classic was the perfect example. You were there.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I knew he was there. All of a sudden I get home, and I had gotten home later, so I flipped it on there on 17, and there's Joe with George just giving him a club. I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's of course.
Yeah, so Joe brought the parties to be. Our friends at Big Bird, who helped us create it. They helped produce the Q last year, and then at that point, the rest is history. It did really well. And we were off to the races to try to do it again in this year, and that's where we got to. And then we decided, hey, we need to bring in some big guns. We need to bring in the fellas from the PGA Tour. So we met our friends Skylar and Jason and the folks at PGA Tour Studios, and then they joined us in this wild adventure. So now there's 3 different people helping us, 2 different people. We got Big Bird helping us this year, and then we have the PGA Tour and Tour Studios We got a chance to tour their studios when we went there to visit for a kickoff meeting.
You'll see all that in the behind the scenes video. That's a little bit of a spoiler. That's a piece of content that'll be coming down the road as well.
But that is an amazing facility. They got a lot of capabilities. So 3 parties are involved. We brought back the queue.
And I think it's worth saying that, is it worth saying, I don't know if I'm going to have to, Kyle might make me cut this, so this might not matter at all, but Kyle mentioned that Big Bird did the full production last year with help from local talent. And then this year we were like, let's take it to another level. So we brought in Tour Studios to do the main piece, and Big Bird is going to do all the promo pieces the video you saw Friday and the graphics that you saw yesterday are all Big Bird.
That's right.
So, the whole conversation about it was when we were talking with our friends from Visit Myrtle Beach was that, don't ditch the horse that brought you there. Like, dance with the one that brought you there. So it's been a really good partnership between the 3 organizations as a whole.
It wouldn't be right if they weren't involved. They are
as
much a part of this as we are.
Thanks for the help. See ya. So.
And they're friends, right? They're
correct.
Fun doing projects with friends.
Correct.
But having so the tour is the one that's producing and editing the final piece of the queue, which you'll get to watch on Monday, May 5th. And this isn't discrediting anybody. But one thing that I found really fascinating when we produced and filmed the queue this year was the level of their camera ops. All they do is film golf. Like that one guy who was with the final group, he is a golf filming junkie nerd.
The craziest part to me was that, like, whenever I was like, okay, we need a camera here, and I would look, and there would be a camera there. And it's like, well, that's easy. I didn't even have to tell anybody. They were
and they like the one guy, I can't remember his name, but like he had a full suit strapped on camera. He was lugging around the whole time. Like the day before when they were doing their scout, he was like trying to figure out where the final shot would land. And then he comes up to me after and he's like, I told you, I knew where it was going to go.
It's like, yeah, dude, you're a sicko, man. Good Lord.
Oh, my. But, so you can tune in and watch the queue at Myrtle Beach Monday, May 5th. That's going to be noon Eastern on the Play Golf Myrtle Beach YouTube channel. All you're going to have to do is just get on YouTube and type the queue, and it'll pop up. If you're a golf sicko, it'll probably feed into your algorithm if we've done this right.
If you're subscribed to us already, hit the notification bell. If you haven't subscribed to us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then that notification button. That way you will not miss the premiere.
Yeah, that's a good call. Help us out. Like, we would love to get to like 15,000 subscribers by the end of the queue.
We are like small fish in a rather large ocean.
We know who we are. We don't try to be anything else. But give us a hand if you're one of our fellow listeners. Give us a subscription. We'd like to get to 15. But
we're almost at 14.
I think we'll get to 15, hopefully. But yeah, Monday, May 5th. The field is really talented. We'll get into that in a minute. And before we do that, David, I think one of the cool things from this whole experience is seeing how the entertainment side of golf has changed in a year. The queue is an interesting product where it is competition. Like, you are competing for something. It's this social experiment of, can a content creator play in a very competitive, high stakes environment and perform? That is what we're looking to try to find out. I believe they can. I think you'll believe they can. You'll find out. I think everybody will.
I think last year showed it.
Yeah. I think this year's going to be fun to see who competes, and they did very well.
And before anybody says anything, caddies were mic'd up this time.
Yeah, caddies were mic'd up. There's some fun caddies.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the caddies,
but yeah, and it's been fun to see. Like, the Creator Classic, I'm not trying to, we poke fun lovingly, but the Creator Classic is showcase golf, in my opinion, for a moment with Trent on 17 at the Players, the way golf is meant to be enjoyed.
Don't discount our boy FP, the better than most putt.
Yeah, like, just to see pure joy taking place on the golf course, it's fun to see. And now we get to see who's got the chops.
It's fun still. It's just a little bit different fun. It's a little more intense than what a lot of people would probably expect.
Yeah.
From a YouTube video.
Yeah. But you want to talk through the field?
Yeah, I think what we should do before we get into the people that are actually playing is I think we should actually talk about the near misses of people that we almost had to play in the field. So for background, Kyle, myself, and Joe, who's obviously not on the show, were the three people that were, making decisions on who would be in the field.
Do you want to focus on the creators first?
We'll start with the creators. Okay. So we had Quan ready to go.
Quan was committed.
Quan was committed fully, and then he got
I think he might have been the first one to commit too.
I think was the first one to sign paperwork and get back to you. Because
I don't think Quan ever signed the paperwork.
I was gonna say he was like, I guess he was like our third call when I was going through him. He was like our third call that we had, and he was gung ho, he was pumped, and then he got the New Zealand Open invite, which don't really blame him for going to play in that. So we missed out on Quan. We reached out to Good again to try to get Dalkey or somebody, Dalkey, Garrett, like one of those two.
Yeah, and Sean, if you're listening to this, I'm really glad you played. You're awesome. We originally asked to see if Garrett wanted to play again. We offered it up to Garrett last year to play. Unfortunately, his schedule didn't work. He didn't want to play this year. I think Dalkey had
something.
He had something. They were like, hey, we either want Sean or Brad to play.
Yeah.
And then I think Sean really wanted to play. Like, I'm sure he was like, hey, Brad.
Well, he caddied for Quan last year, too.
Yes. Like, Sean wanted to play. And so Brad couldn't play, or Sean convinced Brad not to play. Who knows? But Sean played.
Oh, really? Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it was between the two of those.
Got it. I didn't know that. And then obviously the big one that everybody's going to ask about is Grant. It was back and forth.
Yeah.
The entire time, really. Actually, in the behind the scenes video, you will see a conversation from.
Oh yeah, I forgot you were in the car for that. When I was talking to
from the car, pouring down cold Jacksonville of us three heading back to the airport to fly to our respective homes, and it was a lot of Joe and Kyle, mainly Kyle, trying to convince him. He called backstory. He called Joe to ask him a question. Joe answers. We just happened to be in the car. Kyle was like, "What are you doing? Come on, you want to play or not? Let us know."
I think I was a lot more civil than that. I was like, "Hey man, like
you were."
I think I gave him advice.
I'm just going, running through these fast. But yeah, Kyle was like, if you want to play, great. If not, we don't fault you for it. So we unfortunately didn't get Grant. We were holding out hope. Ended up not getting him. That led us to Solly from No Laying Up, which we jumped on a call once again, us three plus Solly, when Solly was going down to the Gasparilla to play, and he was like, not in playing shape. I have family in town the weekend that everything was taking place. Like, not sure if I'm gonna be able to swing it. He's like, when do you need to know by? We were like, ideally by Friday, because we were getting close to the time. And then he was like, all right, let me see how I play. He was holding tough. I was keeping up with the scoreboard, and then he finished with, I think, an 8. So that pretty much curtains on that.
He said, I'll email you after the round. And
Did he ever email you?
He texted Joe.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Which then he went and played really well at the Creator Classic.
Well, and he even said, like, thank you for even thinking about me. He was like, I would like to be involved next year. So holding out hope that is a thing for next year. That would be awesome. I think it'd bring an entirely new audience to this.
He would have been fun to have had.
Yeah. And have Neil on the bag or somebody, one of the other guys. He probably would have had DJ on the bag. But did you meet him at Sawgrass? No.
If I did, I wouldn't have. No, I don't think so.
Is that everybody from the creators side of things? Busta Jack, they made it pretty clear that they didn't want to play, but
yeah,
they're involved. More on that later.
Was there anybody else? I don't think so. I think that covers. Oh no, Rick Shields was one of the first people we reached out to.
He was actually like in.
He wanted to, but I think this was before the live deal.
I think it came out that like it was I think it was like 2 weeks. It would have been 2 weeks after he signed the deal to play that the live thing got announced.
Yeah, like it sounded like Rick was gonna want to play, but I guess obviously that kind
The
of
tour would
throws a curveball into that.
Yep. I think that's it from the creator side of things. We hinted at it earlier. Let's dive into the aspiring pro side.
On who we invited?
Yeah,
Tried to invite.
Yeah, we tried to get Charlie Woods. That was always a long shot. Let's be honest with ourselves. Everybody kept saying, it's 70-30 when it like 70 yes, 30 no. When in reality it was probably 95 no and 5 yes, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, and we were holding out hope until the last minute that we even had caddy bib name for Woods made and a nameplate.
Yeah.
Where are those now?
They're somewhere. One of the caddy bib name is hanging on Carson's wall.
I
let Carson or Dylan's wall. One of them wanted to hang it up. Yeah, and I was like, "You can do it."
So we were holding out hope to the last minute, but it didn't work out.
Which that's great, but at the end of the day, we don't want to, for lack of a better term, take advantage of a teenager's last name. So
no, it worked out the way it was supposed to be, and that was kind of one of our, when we get into the aspiring pros on like how we framed it this year. Like last year, I think we went with like a lot of like fringe Corn Ferry guys, mini tour type of guys. This year, we really wanted to focus in on that next generation of up and coming.
You're similar to like your Luke Clinton, Miles Russell in that if you're thinking right, if you're watching this right now and thinking in your head, oh, who did they invite? Think along the lines of somebody like a Clinton, Miles Russell. Like that's along the lines. That's where our heads went.
Yeah. So from the junior side, we actually wanted to partner with the USGA and the PGA of America.
Do you want to dive into this now, or do you want to start with creators first for going through the field?
Oh, why don't we let's go with the. Let's jump to it. Yeah.
You want to, where would you like to go? You want to keep going on that thought that you had?
Yeah. I'll give a little backstory on them and I'll let you fill it in. So from the junior standpoint, we worked with the PGA of America and the USGA to identify either the winner or a top finisher. Actually, these are people we invited. I got to talk about Lev Grinberg.
Yes. Did you see he just finished top 5?
I saw that.
At Sage.
Yeah, we thought he was going to be in the queue. So the PGA of America and the USGA each basically gave their spot. We gave them a spot for their respective junior events. And it would have been, I get these all confused. Which was the one that Jake Albert came from?
It was the Junior PGA Championship. He finished runner-up.
Yeah, so the winner of that was Lev Grinberg, and he was who they had. And we jumped on a couple calls with Lev's dad, and Lev is an really interesting young man. Never got the chance to speak with him, but Lev is from the Ukraine, and him and his family actually fled the Ukraine when the war took place there. So I had a couple different conversations with Lev's father. And Lev, kid he actually followed the accounts after we talked to his dad.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's my
but he wanted to, but I don't understand junior golf and how events work, but I guess there's some junior Ryder Cup event that was going to cause a conflict because he wanted to play on the European Junior Ryder Cup team.
Huh. Interesting.
So I can't fault him for that.
No. Again, we don't fault anybody for not playing, right? At the end of the day, like it's like anything in life. If you have a better opportunity, take it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that. That's where so Jake Albert was the runner-up at the event, and he got the spot. And then the other one was Trevor Gaszowski.
Sure.
He was the champion of the U.S. Amateur.
U.S. Junior Am.
That one, yeah.
Yep. I got you, dog.
You got me. And that's where he came from. And then Tyler Watts is a repeat of last year's Q. And that kid is a freaking dog.
Yeah,
he's a stone cold killer.
He's a killer. Gaszowski beat Tyler Watts in the U.S. Junior Am finals. But a little bit background kind of on Jake Albert, 27th ranked kid in AJGA. Obviously T2 at Junior PGA in 2024, verbally committed to play at Auburn. and played in 2024 DJ and 2025. So, and then Gachewski, the best part about Gachewski is, and we're going to make content out of it, is just the golf ball doesn't care tweet. So for those of you that don't know, after he won the U.S. Junior Am, he became the highest ranked person in U.S. Junior Am history to win. He was like 1350 something. And golf.com put up this slick graphic about it, and then he quote tweeted, and all he said was golf ball doesn't care. And that's sick. He also might have he might be a killer too down the road. But his dad and brother play.
Yeah, and his dad played in the One Flight Myrtle Beach Classic last year.
I didn't even realize that. So very, very, very good player. He's going to Florida basketball school next year to play golf. Or is it next year or 2 years? Anyway, he's young.
They got a good golf program at
I know. It's just March Madness.
Wait, is Florida a basketball school or a football school?
Basketball. I mean, it's both. If you want to like really get, pardon my take, had this exact argument.
I know, I saw it.
Like,
they're a football school.
I mean, you used to work at Florida, so
they're a football school.
Okay. I mean, their basketball program's pretty dang good too, though.
Yeah, they're a football school.
And then the last one, Tyler Watts. If you all watched the Q last year, chances are if you're watching this video, you probably came here from the Q last year. He's a stud. There's really no other way to say it. Kid is an absolute stud. Headed to Tennessee in a few years. Could have easily won or gotten in the playoff last year. So, yeah, he's a stud.
He'll be one to watch.
Yeah.
Not just in the queue, but in the future.
For years to come.
Yeah, he's talented.
So I think since sticking with the aspiring pros side of things, I think the next spot to go would be the college players. So this year we decided to get somebody from each of South Carolina's biggest universities, in Coastal, Clemson, and University of South Carolina. So we got Andrew Swanson from Clemson, Drew Sykes from Coastal, and Nathan Franks from South Carolina. All really good players. Nathan Franks is 24th in PGA Tour U rankings. He was having a hell of a season last year on his way back from his second win of the year. The team bus got in a wreck. He fractured his elbow, had to miss SEC championship, all sorts of things. He's a stud. He will be on some tour at some point just in the future. Andrew Swanson, another South Carolina kid, goes to Clemson, but from the state of South Carolina. Yep. He's another stud. He's
53 right now in the PGA Tour U rankings.
Is he?
Yep. I looked at it today.
He received the NCAA's Elite 90 award for men's golf last year in 2024. So another absolute stick. Came highly recommended from his golf coach, Coach Bird.
Yeah.
Bird. And then Drew Sykes, young kid, freshman at Coastal. He's from England. He has another Englishman in the field. And he almost won the Hackler a few weeks ago or last week.
Did he really?
Yeah, he was playing really well. He was going on a run, and then he kind of he had some bad stretches, but another really, really, really talented young player.
Really good kid, too.
Yeah.
Really good kid.
Super down to earth. You wouldn't know he's incredible at golf unless you know him.
Yeah.
Stupid thing.
Good kid.
And then so we had one other spot. So real quick, we did our local qualifier again as well. And so where we invited all pros from golf schools, hotels, package companies, anybody involved with golf got to come play in this 1 day qualifier to get into the queue. And well, it just so happened, and it might seem rigged, but it was not. I was out there that our very own Patrick O'Brien from our events team ended up winning. He holed a shot. If you've ever played Thistle, he'll hold a shot from below the green on 9 Cameron, par 3, and hold a shot that I thought at the time was to tie and get into a playoff. And it turned out that at the time that was to win by 1 over Zach Taylor. So he shot 69, got into it, got into the queue, attended Coastal Carolina. He gave me some fun facts about himself. He said he doesn't buy new clubs unless he breaks them, unless they break. he has a 6-month-old Beckett at home. Oh, you weren't here. He brought Beckett to the office last week.
Oh, nice.
And he actually used to work for the first tee of the Carolinas. So Pat's been around golf his whole life, was one of the top players growing up. So he came in through the local qualifier. Then I think the guy that we probably knew the best from the aspiring pro side was Joe Hooks, because we've worked with Joe in the past. Joe actually, if you've followed our content for a bit, Joe was in the Social Scramble, which was...
It was the basically the original concept for the Q. That was not the best concept.
It was what we wanted the Q to be, in a way.
We wanted the Social Scramble to be what the Q is.
Yeah, I'm not really like... the ideas were there, and they kind of crossed, like... They're like two ships passing in the night, or two planes.
We just didn't have the stakes of the PGA Tour to kind of bring it all together.
Correct.
That's what kind of brought...
Correct.
Yeah.
And so Joe, if you know Joe Hooks, Joe's got a pretty good following across all of his social channels, but you know, he's a grinder. He grew up in Detroit, played for a small school in Michigan, Wayne State. He competes now on the APGA Tour, never made a PGA Tour start. He is, and I can say this, one of the most humble people I've ever met in my entire life. Like truly, just is one of the nicest dudes ever.
When we created this and set a category for aspiring pros of giving guys who are grinding at a shot to play on the PGA Tour a legitimate, amazing opportunity, he's that guy.
100%
is that guy.
He is. He's just an all-around good dude. I promise you know, when it comes out and you were watching it, like, if you don't root for Joe Hooks, you probably are just a bad person.
Yeah. He's a guy that you can root for and be like, I want to see this guy win.
He's the man.
I want to see this guy potentially change his life.
It was cool to see him. It was cool to see him again, too, because we hadn't seen him since. I mean, that was Social Scramble was 2-3 years ago now. So It was good to see him.
Yeah, and it was fun to watch him play.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He's an absolute gamer. That does it from the aspiring pro side, I believe, right? I think that's everybody.
You checked them all off.
I'm going to turn this over to you now to run us through the creators.
Yeah, so, 8 creators. Wanted to bring guys in that, one, I think the thing that you have to understand, too, is, like, you can't just be any creator and play in this. The tour has to approve you and your ability.
That goes for everybody.
Everybody. So that's what I think, again, like when we say this, like these guys that play YouTube golf are really good at golf. But then when you think about, so they have a legitimate opportunity to compete at the highest level. And that's what the Q is, to find out, like, can they? So obviously leading off the list, Bryan is back.
George.
Yeah. George is the guy in YouTube golf that people look at as he's the guy.
The standard is the standard.
He is the guy. He's the godfather of it. He's one of the elder statesmen now in it. But obviously he took runner-up last year, lost in the playoff to Atkins. And then the folks at the Myrtle Beach Classic were like so impressed by it that they gave him a spot into the tournament, which I thought was the right thing to do. But, one thing about, I'm going to tell a little like bits of information on these guys that people might not know if you're not intimately familiar. And I wouldn't say we're intimately familiar, but we're more familiar with these guys than probably the average Joe, is that the Bryan family is a really close-knit family. I don't know that for sure, but just from looking and observing, like Mr. Bryan, George Bryan III, every time I've ever seen George play a competitive round of golf, I've seen him out there walking.
Oh, yeah.
And he actually carried the bag for George this year.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bryan, as I call him, every time I see him, he walks up to me, he grabs my arm, and he goes, "You're looking good." So if I ever see him and he doesn't say that, I'll be like, man, I'm getting fat.
I'm ugly.
Yes. Every time, grabs my arm, looking good. But the thing about George, too, that I don't think a lot of people understand, too, is like when you're in this creator golf space, life is hectic. Life is crazy. You're traveling all around, going from place to place to film content. And it's hard to spend time with your family. And actually, at the Q, George and his wife brought the whole family down to Myrtle Beach for a little weekend getaway, and his wife and kids got sick.
Like sick.
So George, being a great father, brings his daughter to the welcome dinner and lugs in his little baby daughter in a place where, I'm not to say it wasn't a kid-friendly place, but like it wasn't like set up for kids.
Correct.
And I just felt so bad for the guy. I'm like, hey, man, like, he's like ordering chicken tenders for his daughter and just trying to get her fed and happy.
Oh, I love a
but
chicken
like,
tender.
That tells you the type of dude he is. Like, I got a lot of respect for that as a father with young kids.
Mr. Bryan, fun fact, didn't realize this until the other day when I was looking at the scorecard, is the director of golf at Selena. I did not realize. So
it's a family affair over there at Selena, which you've played at.
In a rainstorm.
That stinks. Next one on the list is Fat Perez, the
people's champ.
He is the people's champ.
The people's champ.
FP is the man.
He is awesome.
Back for the second year. And I think one thing, Robbie Berger's on the bag again for him this year. Really excited to just kind of hear that dialogue, which mic'd up. We did that this year, learned our mistakes. But FP legitimately loves Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, he's been coming here. I didn't know that. He's been here a lot before the Q was even a thing.
Yeah, before he like was on the map with Bob Does Sports, like, and he was living his accountant days. Like, this is where him and his buddies would take their golf trips, which is really cool. Like, he talked about, he's made mention about how they would save up their money, and then take that trip to Myrtle Beach, and it meant so much. And he comes here a few times a year. Like last year, he texted me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm in Myrtle Beach." I'm like, "Cool, dude. You need anything?" "No, just want to tell you I'm here."
Yeah. I was on the IG and I was like, Fat Perez mentioned you in a story. I was like, what? And he was landing at the airport. I was like, sick.
Yeah, and he knows this area too. Like, he knows the golf courses. Like, he's
just the man.
He is.
Like, credit to that guy for like just carving out a niche.
Yep, he is what I think every guy kind of like envisions. Like, what if my life turned into this? Like, I'm just this average Joe, and now I've got this amazing job. Like, this is his job.
I think it's worth saying too that he works his butt off.
He does. He works his butt off.
He works his butt off to get where it's not. A lot of people who look at these creators just think, oh, I mean, it's just a camera and a computer. I could do it. And it's like, no, dog. Like, that guy grinded his butt off to get to where he is.
100%. We actually asked, one of the questions we asked everybody, like, what's golf's biggest dream for you? And he said, I'm living it. This is my dream.
He's right.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway.
Perspective. Cool.
Yep.
Next up, another repeat player, Peter Finch from England.
Finchy.
He is the man.
Yeah, I mean, we're just sounding like broken records at this point, but yeah, he's
he
awesome.
Is the funniest man in golf. In his interview sessions with when we were doing media interviews, everybody was just dying laughing. His sarcasm and sense of humor is amazing. He is a gem.
He's so self-deprecating too. I can relate to that. He is a hell of a golfer and just thinks he has no shot at doing anything good.
He is a very good golfer. And his media team is really talented. I told him, I was like, hey, guys, last year y'all won the Q for best video.
Kyle offered him my job.
I did not. But I told him, I was like, hey, guys, like, this is like, you're the defending champ for the best video. Let's see what you got. So I told him it was between them and the Bryan brothers. So it's going to be a battle. We'll see.
So that's our no, we got one more.
Yeah, the last returner of the field from last year, Micah Morris, coming back. Really excited that we could have Micah back. It's well documented. He struggled last year, and you'll see some of the content that comes out. That one of the things I have the utmost respect for that dude, because he talked about how it would have been really easy for him just to say, no, I'm not doing this again. I'm afraid to fail. But he's like, hey, I want to show people that in life you can fail and it's okay. You just go back out there and try again.
Yep.
And that right there is a powerful, powerful way of living your life.
Him and Joe Hooks, that might be the combo for the
if you're
most humble
when
people.
You watch, he's a guy to root for.
Yep.
He is a guy to root for. One other fun thing is, dude's got a big old truck.
Big old truck.
He rolls up.
Hell.
He rolls up to the welcome dinner, and I see him. I'm like, Micah, did you rent this truck from the airport? He's like, nah, man, I drove all the way here.
He drove up.
He drove from Alabama.
That's still.
And,
I've done the drive to Alabama. That's not fun.
In a stupid big pickup truck.
What was it, like a 350?
It's big.
Was it like a Dodge Ford?
Let's put it this way: my truck, which is like one of the smaller trucks, parked next to it, looked like I looked like I had a little Toyota Corolla compared to his truck.
I mean, I need to know what truck he's driving.
It's a big old truck.
All right, you keep going.
Ben Kruper, new this year. They call him the Paul's King. Dude, great young dude. He actually just moved up the road from us in North Carolina. We actually connected with Ben. He got on some of our golf courses here, and he's a good dude. One funny thing is his girlfriend is also his employee. How does that sound?
What?
His girlfriend shoots and does all his video content.
Really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. I did not know that. That is very cool.
I said, what happens if he fires you? And she says, he can't.
I mean, hey, credit to her. That's that's good living if you can get it.
He's an awesome dude. Heck of a player, too. Heck of a player.
Young,
too.
Young.
I
don't think people fully understand how just truly young.
Is he like 20 or 21?
He's like, I think he might be 21, 22. Like, that is so young.
Yeah. Next up, new this year, Roger Steele.
I'll
tell you what, I'm not trying to discredit anybody in the field. He was the best addition, in my opinion. He brought some energy out there. He was really stoked to be out there.
Yeah, it's cool to have somebody, like Raj, that's on not to say none of these guys are on a national platform, but like Roger's on ESPN every Monday.
Yeah, and actually speaking of that, this is how much this meant to him. The dude had a TGL match he had to be at that night. So as soon as the event finishes, he hightails it to the airport, and the folks from One Flight, new co-title sponsor of the Myrtle Beach Classic, had a jet waiting for him so he could get to the TGL match.
And he made it.
I
think
he was a little late, but they were okay with it.
Yeah.
And if his golf creator career, David, doesn't pan out, he's got another career.
Just being awesome?
No, he's going to be on the WWE.
What?
That dude was made for the WWE.
I mean, yeah, personality and everything. Yeah, I could see it.
Put some steroids in him. Get him real beefy. Dude, he's the next WWE superstar.
And on this week's podcast, we break down the Q field and how Roger Steele can become WWE's next big thing.
Take some steroids, and he'll be a champion.
Take some steroids and start doing what Kyle does for lunch every day and eat like a pound of ground beef.
That's the ticket. Another big hitter, no pun intended. Kyle Berkshire is in the field this year. That guy is one of the most incredible people I've ever watched hit a golf ball.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
His ball flight is ridiculous.
I mean, it's straight in the air. It doesn't matter what club it is straight in the air. He hit 4-iron as high as I hit a wedge. It's ungodly.
He is incredible to watch. Incredible. And, it's interesting. Like, he understands the game of golf. Like, his dad owns a golf course in Maryland that Kyle grew up on. And he, like him and I were talking about just, golf business and stuff like that. And, the dude understands the golf business and golf industry. He's also exceptionally smart. That dude is a really intelligent dude who just – you can tell he's always thinking.
He's very analytical from what I could tell in my few conversations with him.
Yeah, that dude is a sharp dude.
His career is a fascinating one, too. College golf to world long drive to the creator space. That's a fascinating
and
career
his
arc.
Caddy was interesting. I wouldn't say I know anything about pop culture, but I don't know if this is pop culture, but his caddy for the Q was Bobby Ray, fellow long drive guy who was the winner of one of those dating shows. Did I not tell you this?
No.
All right, dude. So I'm sitting there on the driving range. I'm talking to Bobby. I'm like, what's up, dude? And, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, asking questions and stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm kind of used to this. Like, I've been on television, reality television show before, so I'm used to being mic'd up." I was like, "Oh, really, dude? What you want? What were you on?" He's like, like Love on an Island or something." And I was like, "Yeah, I think I've heard of it." He's like, "Yeah, I think it was on Fox. I was on that." I was like, "Oh, dude, how'd it work out for you?" He's like, "Well, I won." So he won. He won a dating reality television. Apparently, he took the money and not the girl.
I mean, yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I don't blame the guy. Good on him that you play to win the game. And then last on our creator field, new this year, but not new to the queue, Sean Walsh. Sean's with Good. Last year, he was the caddy for Luke Kwan. And the whole time, like, Sean keeps texting me. This was last year. He keeps going, "Hey, man, like, if anybody drops out, I will play." It's like, got it.
Talk about a dude that loves golf. That guy is a golf truly a golf sicko.
He is one of the nicest, most genuine dudes ever. Like, he's another guy you can root for. Like, he's just a good dude. A good dude for good. Kind of works out.
And fun fact on Sean when I was doing research, he has played golf in South America, China, Canada, Switzerland, and the Dominican Republic. It's
like just for fun or just like on competitive?
Well, he used to be like on smaller tours he used to be on KFT and stuff. So maybe, I don't know, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he went to Gonzaga.
Yeah, another basketball school.
All right, that's a basketball school.
Dude, I'm telling you, Florida's a basketball school, Kyle.
Actually, you know what? If you were to ask someone from Florida, they're just an athletic school. Like, they are known as probably the best athletic program in the country just for all their sports.
Is Auburn a basketball or football school now?
No, Auburn is a football school.
I know. That's an easy one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the field. Super, super. You know what? When we put this together, David, on paper, I was like, I don't know. Like, is this going to be a good field? Then once everybody came in, I was like, this is a freaking amazing field.
Yeah, the storylines are unmatched, I think, personally. It's a great mix. Great mix.
It is a great mix. Before we talk and finish up on like what people can expect over the next month, I have a game for you.
Kyle's game time.
It's Kyle's game time.
I'll be lucky to get one of these.
All right. I have a number of handicaps from the players in the field, creators and aspiring pros. I'm going to give a handicap. You got to tell me whose it is.
And this all stems from, Kyle kind of hinted at it earlier, but in order for us to do this, each player in the Q field had to meet a specific PGA Tour handicap requirement. So we had to go and pull handicaps if they had one, right? They all had one, I think, right? I don't know.
Well, if you played professionally in some sort of professional setting, you don't need to have a handicap. Like, for example, George Bryan, Peter Finch, and Micah Morris all didn't. Their handicaps were way better than needed, but they didn't have to supply it. And then like Joe Hooks as well, and then Drew Sykes because he's international. But yeah, all right, let's go through this. All right, let's play this game, David.
Okay.
We're gonna lead off with a +6-3.
And I'm guessing the player?
Every player in the field.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to read the name and I was going to guess the handicap.
Oh, you want to do it that way?
No, this is more fun and it's going to make me look more stupid.
All right, +6-3.
Good God. Tell me the players who don't have one on that sheet.
George, Peter, Micah, Joe, Drew.
Okay. +6-3. Oh, my God. It's got to be Nathan Franks.
Andrew Swanson, Clemson University.
Okay.
All right, next up. All right, finish with this one.
I'm not going to get one of these right.
+3-3.
+3-3. Is that Watts?
Kyle Berkshire.
Damn it.
+4. Creator.
It's Ben Kruper.
Bing, bing. Ben Kruper. Yeah. +4. All right. plus 5.9. I'll give you a hint. Junior.
That's got to be Watts.
Nope. Trevor.
Dang. Killer.
Plus 6.2.
Is that Frank's?
That's Nathan Franks.
Okay. All right.
0.
That's FP.
FP. Right. 4 plus 4.3.
That's Watts.
No.
Damn it. Tyler, you are screwing me, dude.
Jake Albert.
Oh, my God.
All right. 3 more. Plus 5.4.
I mean, that's got to be Watts now. By process of elimination, it has
Tyler
to be.
Watts.
I've guessed him 4 times.
All right. Plus 4.4.
Is that Pat?
Pat O'Brien. According to the handicaps, people that do the handicaps, this is the best person in the field for the Q at Myrtle Beach 2025 with a plus 6.4.
I mean, Roger's the only one that we haven't done.
Somebody else out there. Best golfer according to handicaps in the Q field 2025.
Oh, is it Sean?
Sean Walsh of Good.
Good God, dude.
According to the handicaps, the best golfer in the field.
Oh, my gosh.
Will he win, David? We will find out May 5th, 2025 at noon Eastern on YouTube on the Play Golf Myrtle Beach channel, and you can watch it then.
Dude, 6'4" is so good. I'm like gobsmacked by that.
Sean Walsh is really good at golf. Just leave it at that.
And on that note, there's only one thing left to do, Kyle.
See ya.